On September 17th, 2024, DreamWorks' Dogman trailer was released on YouTube. I loved the Captain Underpants movie, and I've been saying for years that the Dogman book series would be perfect for a movie adaptation. So I was pretty pleased when I heard that DreamWorks was making a movie adaptation. The trailer showcased beautiful animation that really showed it was an evolution of the Captain Underpants' movie style. It really had a warm, fuzzy feel with like a nice mixture of 2D and 3D perspectives. And it really felt like this was an adaptation of a comic book series. Dav Pilkey's style in the books, all the characters had very round, circular heads. In the trailer, they still do, but they're slightly elongated, like into more of ovals, probably so that they'd have enough room for their hair. As in here, their hair isn't just spontaneously on the top of their head; it's actually, on their scalps. There were quite a few references to the books, and there was actually one reference to Treehouse Comics Inc. In like the newspaper you see PD's reading. It has a little like their symbol on the corner, which I thought was pretty neat. About here in the video is where I decided I would either go through each individual character that I thought had a possibility of being in the movie, or just go through DreamWorks' official movie description. I picked the latter. Official movie descriptions are very interesting because they are written in a way that every sentence counts and has a purpose. They can't be going and writing paragraphs of just fluff. They need to really say things that give information about the movie and like the hooks both fans of what it's adapting and new potential fans. And so each sentence says something important. The first sentence in the movie description just says part dog, part man, all hero, which are the phrases that we've been seeing in the posters and everything. And the first paragraph after that is just saying, here the creators of this blockbuster are creators of other popular franchises, just like crediting. The next paragraph says, when a faithful police dog and his human police officer owner are injured together on the job, a harebrained but life-saving surgery fuses the two of them together and Dogman is born. Dogman is sworn to protect and serve and fetch, sit, and roll over. This, of course, is just restating his origin story and how a half-human, half-dog cop came to be. Next paragraph, as Dogman embraces his new identity and strives to impress his chief, he must stop the pretty evil plots of feline supervillain Petey the Cat. These are all things we know from the trailer, and so that he's just trying to figure out how to be part dog, part human, and he wants to impress his chief because that's kind of like his owner, I guess, now. And it's just stating, oh yeah, he's trying to stop the plots of Petey the Cat. Here's where it gets interesting. In the second half of the third paragraph, it says, Petey's latest plan is to clone himself, creating the kitten Little Petey to double his ability to do crime stuff. Things get complicated though, when Little Petey forges an unexpected bond with Dogman. I like that it says stuff. Crime stuff. This confirms that Little Petey will be in the movie. Once again, all the other books before Little Petey was kind of just funny adventures and no substance. And movies need substance. Little Petey was the whole reason for all the morals coming in and character growth. So he is a catalyst character that the story really needs. We know little Petey is for sure a clone, just like the books, and that he forges a bond with Dogman. So I think this will probably be in a similar fashion to the books, given some of the concept art shows Dogman holding up little Petey in the Free Kitties box underneath the street light. So I definitely think it'll be very similar to the book, which is pretty exciting because this was like a very interesting concept from the start, and this is what really hooked me to the Dogman series. So I think it'll be awesome to see that in the big screen for sure, and like all the emotions that little Petey felt when he was lost. It'll be awesome animated. Okay, fourth paragraph. When little Petey falls into the clutches of a common enemy, Dogman and Petey reluctantly join forces into an action-packed race against time to rescue the young kitten. And the rest of this, and yeah, it's Flippy, which I'm pretty excited for. And at first, I really only thought Flippy would be in cameos, in the background of the trailers a couple times, and Chief's office has a bunch of like little drawings of Flippy and them on the mountains and everything, and I just thought these were references, but it looks like that Flippy actually had his debut right before the events of this movie. Like, I don't quite remember a time in the books where Dogman and Petey actually joined forces, like without little Petey. Because usually little Petey was always there, and he was the reason why they joined forces, like, kind of, but I think it'll be interesting to see them just join forces without little Petey's insistence, but to save him, and that'll be something slightly new, and it'll be made even more interesting by the fact that they're trying to save him from Flippy, another enemy, and a very interesting one too. In the last line of the fourth paragraph, they conclude the movie description with the simple sentence, "In the process, they discover the power of family and kittens to bring even the most hostile foes together." So, pretty standard closing sentence, of course, with the kitten joke, and the part where it says to bring even the most hostile foes together. So there's probably going to be some greater threat where all the villains are going to have to come together. Obviously, Petey and Flippy. Who else? We don't know. But in the next paragraph down here, it lists some characters and who they'll be played as. So maybe some of these will be the villains. Most of these characters we already know are going to be in the movie, just from the description or from the trailer. But there's a few of these where I was kind of surprised, partly because I kind of forgotten about them. So obviously there's Sarah Hadoff and Flippy the Fish, but one that kind of surprised me, and I actually kind of forgot about, was Petey's assistant. His butler. And it actually mentions, like, who's gonna be acting him. So it makes me think, will he actually be a relevant character? Will the butler have their own villain arc, maybe? And will the butler be one of the villains that will come together in the end? I don't know. It's possible. Also, another character mentioned here is Sarah's cameraman, who says his name is Seamus. I'm not quite sure. Is that his name in the books? It might be. I don't know. I think I only mentioned his name like once, and that was like I don't know. Was it in the Cat Kid Comic Club side series or spin-off series? I should say. But maybe he'll be a relevant character. He might be. I don't know. But yeah, in the trailer, he definitely looks different from in the books. But they gotta make changes in somewhere, right? And then there's Grandpa. Why is there Grandpa on here? I don't know. I'm not complaining. I like Grandpa. He provides very good plot and is an important part of Petey's backstory. Maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe Grandpa will only be in flashbacks with Petey, as I hope Petey's mom will come in as. But if he's actually a story in like the present plot, like that'd be a lot of story to fit in. And sure, it definitely hooks readers. Would that kind of overcomplicate things? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't. But he'd be pretty neat, though. I gotta say, it'd be pretty cool if he was in the movie. But again, maybe that'd be too much. Maybe it's not. Maybe the writers are very awesome. But and anyways, like all these characters that are listed in here, maybe they actually won't be have big parts in the movie. They just happen to be played by big celebrities. Maybe that's the only reason why they're listing them. But it also makes me think, like, will they actually play a big part because they have celebrities? Or are they just listed because they're celebrities? You know, I kind of made that more complicated than it had to be, but now I'm just going to go over a few other notes I had that didn't really correspond with any specific part in the trailer or movie description, mostly centered around little Petey. So, of course, there's a cloning machine. He's the source of morals. But something like I'd like to note that is really the reason why he's interesting and why Petey's interesting is that little Petey reveals Petey's good nature. So little Petey's like a clone of Petey, right? So obviously he's gonna be like an exact copy, or at least by definition. Well, I'm sure Dav Pilkey or Pilkey, I can't pronounce his last name, like made some creative liberties with little Petey's personality, but this still says a lot, like saying that like how kind and forgiving little Petey is in comparison to Petey, because there's a big difference there. And I definitely think, like, cross-referencing with the flashbacks we've had of Petey in his childhood, that Petey used to be a whole lot nicer. And obviously you can see how he could get that from his mom, given his mom is a really nice person, and it has taught Petey a lot of lessons. I think little Petey kind of exposes his hidden good nature and of who he used to be. This is why I love Dogman, because of these parallels the author draws with everything. And it really gives each story a whole lot of depth and meaning. And it's pretty fun to try to unpack that. Now, another question I have is, will Dogman become more of a friend to little Petey or a parental figure? In the books, it kind of goes the other way. He's kind of more of a parent. Well, given Dogman can't really talk. So, I mean, I think that in a movie, it's more likely that they lean the other way, and Dogman's more of a friend, because that's more understandable to children and to, like, most of their targeted audience. There probably won't be ADHD in the movie, and that means no super buddies, because again, too much plot. That's more of like a movie, like a Dogman 2 kind of thing. If they made a second one. But don't quote me if I'm wrong, because this is just, a lot of this stuff is just guesses and assumptions of what I think is probable. So I was watching the trailer. To be honest, I'm not a very good judge of accents, so I can't really tell a British accent from an Australian accent. But when I was watching the part with Sarah, it sounded like she was British, not Australian. And I just think this was funny because the book Dogman and Cat Kid, like when they're making that Dogman movie, and like Sarah's like talking about all the actors and they're all coming in, and then there's that one Yole Caprice. Is that her name? Yeah, Yole Caprice. She says something in French, and Sarah Hadoff says, I'm Australian, not French. It'd be pretty funny if they got her nationality wrong again in the real like movie. But she probably does have a real Australian accent. I probably just heard it wrong. Again, I'm not a good judge of accents, so. All that being said, whichever direction the movie takes, as long as it expresses these universal morals in a unique and digestible way, this movie will be successful. Because, after all, this is what drew most of us towards the Dogman books. That, and their quirky random adventures. DreamWorks just needs to tell the story of a young, kind-hearted kitten, his best dog-human friend, and his conflicted villain father. And I believe they will do an excellent job. Okay, this is my first video, so it was pretty messy. Despite that, I'm pretty satisfied with it. I have a long list of things I am going to do differently next time. I've definitely said the words and pretty interesting and definitely several times in this video, and I started out pretty quiet and bland in the beginning because it's kind of hard to break into it, but it got pretty loud towards the end. The differences between the beginning and the end weren't helped by the fact that I started recording this in early September, like after the trailer dropped, and now I'm ending this, I don't know, December something, whenever this video is posted. I thank you for watching this video all the way through. It was definitely a struggle, but I think I'll be doing this again with other things. If you're going out to watch the Dogman movie this January, enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it, definitely. I'm very excited, as I've said earlier. And really, yeah, no matter what happens, it'll probably be a good movie.